All right, there. Thank you so much for staying with us. Industry watchers in the technology space have urged Nigerian youths to shun fraud and cyber attacks, noting that it threatens the nation's identity. They also called on Nigerian youths to take the lead in securing the nation's digital future through innovation, responsibility, and cyber awareness. They were speaking at the Cyber Summit, which held in Abuja, where youths were urged to embrace technology not only as users, but also as protectors and innovators. Speakers noted that Nigeria's rapid rise as one of Africa's leading digital economies brings both opportunities and risk, warning that cyber attacks, online frauds, and misinformation could undermine the nation's progress if not addressed proactively. Now, they emphasize that securing Nigeria's digital space goes beyond installing firewalls or just developing codes. Well, let's break this down and dig deep into this very important discussion. My guest is Mr. Idowu Akinde. He's a startup coach and also an investor in the tech space. Mr. Akinde, thank you so much for your time. Despite all of the pressure, you were able to join the show and your tight schedule. We really appreciate this. Thank you so much.
Hi, Tolu. It's always a pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, I think we should start with what's been happening around fraud and, of course, cyber attacks in recent times. Do we still have that prevalence of acts like that, considering the fact that you see banks and, of course, tech guys, everyone trying to build firewalls? What's happening around that space before we get into some other details?
Okay, so in terms of activity, if I can use that word to describe, in terms of fraudulent activity, you could say yes. You would be correct if you said that yes, there's still fraudulent cyber activity going on around. In fact, part of what we're going to talk about, part of what I imagine we'll talk about today, is the role of AI and its effect on cyber trends. So yes, it's still very much in play, and hopefully there are a few things that I advocate that I like to advocate for, that the government can put in place to essentially provide credible alternatives and discourage people from having to choose cybercrime as a career option or as a career path. But in terms of volume of activity or intensity of activity, definitely those activities are still going on.
So you just touched on something very important, the rise of AI, and why you should care about your online security, because many will tell you AI comes with its positives and, of course, its negatives.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us about what you make of the rise in AI and why we should care.
Okay. So as much excitement as is going on in the general human society, global human society right now, especially around the rise of AI and its applications to productivity, document creation, proposal generation, just efficiencies. As much as those things are exciting, in the world of cybersecurity, AI has been a great source of, is a double-edged sword. It's been a great source of headache for what you call defenders or blue teams, or people who are responsible for protecting vital assets against cyber attacks. And it's been a great source of productivity multiplier for the attackers. So it's a double-edged sword. What this means in simple layman's terms, I'm trying to use as much simple layman's terms as possible. What this means in simple layman's terms is that if previously people were sending phishing emails. We all know what phishing is. Phishing is when people send you messages, whether by email or by SMS or through some other medium, that is designed and intended to extract information from you, but is fraudulent by itself. Now, before the rise of AI, you could notice certain patterns in those types of phishing scam/malware messages. And some of those patterns are poor grammar, poor spelling, poor formatting of the message itself. Sometimes if it's email, it's just not sophisticated. With the rise of AI, with the rise of many of the AI tools that are out there now, every intended scammer now has a professional grade editor for them that can make their scam messages more convincing now. So that's what I meant earlier when I said on the attacking side, it's a big source of headache for the defenders, because the attackers now have great productivity multipliers. It's a great boost in productivity, for them. On the flip side, it's not a one-sided thing. On the flip side, the defenders also now must use AI. If previously, say 24, 48 months ago, you were a cybersecurity defender and you didn't like the use of AI, or you felt like you could spot all the red flags by yourself with your human eye, nowadays, the speed and the complexity and the sophistication of attacks makes it such that it is literally a no-brainer. It's literally unreasonable to try and manually catch these things nowadays by yourselves. It's like maybe a goalkeeper that is trying to protect a goalpost. And before, you had a human that was kicking balls at you. But now you have 10 robots standing in front of you, each of them kicking balls at you, the goalkeeper, and each of them can kick faster than a human being. So how many are you going to spot by yourself? You have to go and find robots to help you catch those balls by yourself. That's the only way to defend nowadays. So AI has been both a blessing and a curse in the world of cybersecurity.
Getting more interested now, but a lot of security codes and all of it, where you password, online security, best practices to focus in 2025. What do you make of those security networks? We're supposed to have passwords for online security. Now, how well do you think how have we been able to manage all of this, and how are they working for us?
Okay, so not to sound like a prophet of doom, but the rise of AI has really, we now need to think of each of those devices not in the passive security sense that we used to think of them, but in the active security sense. And what I mean by active security sense is, I've had friends who have asked me the question before, and so what if I'm hacked? What are they going to gain? Now, the challenge is, before now, if you were not a celebrity, there may not have been much incentive. But nowadays, you don't need to be a celebrity. Database and go and sell it on the black market, on the digital black market. So all of us, because the mindset of the hackers have changed in terms of what is valuable, all of us citizens that used to think that we were not targets before need to start rethinking ourselves, because now everybody is valuable. But the point is, there should always be something, even if it's a token, is a hard token, is a soft token, there should always be something, or an SMS that you get at the point of login. There should be some type of third-party validation mechanism that verifies that you are the one that is logging in. Because nowadays, passwords have been broken time and time again. So passwords are no longer considered safe. So in 2025 and beyond, we all need to normalize using something beyond passwords. And the next thing to think about is some type of token or SMS. It's called 2FA. Whatever service you're signing up for, Gmail, Yahoo, all of these services, there's always a 2FA option. Always activate it.
Finally, let's highlight some.
I hope I answered that question.
Yeah, you did perfectly. Some cybersecurity threats in 2025. What are those, let's say, top three cybersecurity threats in 2025?
Okay. The first one would have to be deep fakes. Again, AI, I'm not aware that it has become a thing locally in Nigeria, but in the last 3 weeks, people have literally created convincing videos. This 3-week timeline that I'm quoting coincides with the time that the new OpenAI is one of the leaders in AI development, artificial intelligence development. One of their products is a video creation software that is so real that it's hard to distinguish the content. So sometimes all you have to do is put Idowu Akinde as an expert guitarist, and I've never played a guitar in my life, right? So we now have situations over the last few weeks where celebrities are being targeted and being, embarrassed online because somebody just went to an app somewhere and typed, I don't want to say Tolu Ogunjobi eating a sandwich by the gutter or something, something really, those are the polite versions, but they are really nasty situations out there. So the first thing is deep fakes. I don't know that there's even any solution to deep fakes. Maybe the solution is just that to raise the awareness. Everybody needs to know that it is easy for any other person to create a very impressive video impression of you, regardless of whether you know about it or not. So it's out there now. Technology is out there. It's easy for anybody to use. That's the first thing. The second thing is, as I alluded to earlier, unnecessary sharing of sensitive identification things. So in Nigeria right now, the two most sensitive things that anybody can share are your NIN and your BVN. Those things are very, very, very sensitive. And I would advise that people keep them as close to their chest as possible. I understand that certain websites or certain services or certain things you try to access will ask you to provide your NIN, maybe a bank app, maybe a loan or something. But as much as possible, if you can avoid it, take the option that doesn't require you to provide it. Because if that organization or that service, the organization that is providing that service gets hacked, then your NIN is available in the hacking black market. So with each of these NINs, somebody can just go somewhere and create an app, and once the app asks them for NIN and they supply it and they provide your other details, your date of birth, that can be gotten from somewhere, maybe Facebook, your marital status can be gotten from somewhere. People can just piece information about their targets from different places and use this to commit crimes or get value that should not have been possible to them. So that's impersonation. The first one is deepfakes. Second one is impersonation, and the third one is ransomware as a service. So previously, before the age of AI, if you think about it from the perspective of a hacker, why should I spend my time hacking a small company, a small obscure company that even if you squeeze and squeeze and squeeze them, you may not be able to get more than 20,000 naira out of them after squeezing and having their data ransom? When I can spend that same amount of time trying to hack an organization that perhaps, if you squeeze them well, can pay you 20 million naira. So 20 million naira to 20,000 naira. So before the rise of AI, all the ransomware efforts were targeted at juicy, high-profile companies. However, with AI now, there's no discrimination. In fact, ransomware is now on autopilot, such that people are not, just like I described earlier with individuals, the hackers are no longer targeting juicy companies or high-profile companies. They are targeting everybody. So if you have some type of a website or device that is exposed to the internet, your laptops in your office and other devices that are exposed to the internet, but are not secured in that exposure to the internet, there are hacking services that are randomly scanning all over the internet and looking for anybody that their door is open. So the hackers don't need to know that, oh, there's a celebrity behind this open door. All they need to know is there's a door here. Apply the ransomware. And then if they are successful with hacking or encrypting the data of 1,000 people, is a numbers game for them. If only 10 out of 1,000 people are able to, pay them, maybe that's a good outcome for them. So ransomware has become like selling pure water on the road. So first is deepfakes. Second is impersonation through NIN and BVN.
Yeah.
And third is ransomware as a service. Those are the things that I would say that people need to pay attention to in 2025 and beyond.
Mr. Idoakinde, I must thank you so very much for your time. Always nice having you. Join us on the show to discuss issues around the tech world. Startup coach and investor. Do enjoy the rest of your day. And thank you.
Thank you very much, Lulu. It's always a pleasure.
All right, then. All right, then it's time to discuss markets. My guest is investment banker and stockbroker, Mr. Tajuddin Olayinka. He joins me to see the market.